And good evening and welcome to the public safety meeting. I will call to order for the city of Hudson on September 7th. And we will go right to roll call.
Alderperson Hall. Here. Alderperson Morset.
Here.
Alderperson Wakefield.
Here.
So number 3 on the agenda is the approval of the August 8th regular minutes.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion. I didn't say any further discussion, but.
I just want one thing. I thought
And there's actually-
I thought it was just Jeff, but my name's spelled wrong.
Again,
Oh, no, I didn't
I-
notice that.
not
Usually I
IE.
do.
So
Okay,
I always
I
blame
will,
Jeff, but
I will change the motion to
you'll
approve-
rescind that last motion. right?
approve with corrections.
We kind of have to vote to rescind that
Oh.
motion, if we want to be fully compliant.
I will rescind the motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor of rescind?
We have to, okay,
Aye.
okay, aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, now I will make the motion to accept the meeting minutes with the spelling correction as outlined by Chief Spielman.
Second.
Any further corrections?
that should be it. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carries. New business, well, actually, before we get into new business, Mr. Mark Garrity is here. He wanted to touch on a agenda item that the city staff is reviewing before it comes to our committee. So hopefully it will fall in within the parameters of our toolbox for the traffic calming policy. Mr. Garrity, state your name and your address for the record, please.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Mark Garrity, Gherty. My address is 747 Garrity Lane, Hudson, 54016. I am not a resident of the city of Hudson. I did business here for 38 years, and our office was here for 74 years. So I live in the town. I'm here, and I had sent an email to the members of the council that are on the committee, and you should have received that. That's regarding lane delineators being placed from Sophia Lane or Avenue, whatever the designation is, essentially from the Quick Trip to the Culvers intersection, lane deviators in the shoulder area, and I have received a response back from Mr. Morset, but specifically because my observations over the course of this summer with now the increased traffic because of pedestrian traffic, because of the Bella Rose development, and then whatever the development is called behind Culvers, that you have people walking along the west side of Carmichael Road, and I'm asking that these lane delineators, which I'm asking to be installed at the fog line too, because there is no paved shoulder because it disappears. And there is a jog, which was part of a eminent domain litigation in the mid-'80s involving Carmichael Road that jogs to the east, just to the south of Sophia. And that's what's happening is people that I have observed specifically on Wednesday mornings, and there have been a couple foggy Wednesday mornings at 7 o'clock on my way to a Rotary meeting that Joyce is at, that cars go straight. They don't necessarily make the curve. They cut that corner, and if that's happening on a foggy morning in the middle of the summer, my concern is where you have one of the largest middle schools in the state of Wisconsin, less than a mile away from that intersection, and there are kids that are walking on Carmichael Road. So the lane delineators cost through Uline. I provided you with the link. I have made a copy of the page from the Uline page that if you buy one, it's $43 or $47, and if you buy 3 of them, they're $43 a piece. So, and these are similar to the lane delineators that are currently now on 9th Street, and they're the same as one would see heading westbound on I-94 during the construction zone that they have put up to stop people from going off the road. This would be a temporary measure. My request is that this then be referred to Public Works, and specifically that a lane be placed in there for pedestrians. Specifically, there's a series of senior citizens that I have observed walking that is getting their exercise, and that you've got kids, specifically one child who comes off the rental property, which is to the west of Carmichael Road, on a scooter and is scooting down Carmichael Road against the traffic. And I have great fears of, from my prior profession and the experience, of somebody getting clipped. And then you've got claims against the city and et cetera, and then let alone the injury or possible death. So this would be a temporary measure, and the plan would be put them there now and then take them out November 15th, approximately the beginning of snow season, and put them back in on April 15th, so that, again, until this could be completed, to protect the public. And that there's also probably funding, and this would not be necessarily infrastructure, but on safe routes of schools, funding through the various programs through the federal government. They have to file through the state to get to the feds, but that's what I'm looking at. And as, again, coming public safety first, because this is a safety issue. I think it's an immediate issue now that school has started. So I would ask for your consideration. If you want a copy of the sheet from Uline, I'll provide it to the chairman.
We should all have it in the record. Yep.
Okay, then I won't bother. So, any questions?
I would like you to tell me what you told me just a bit earlier about
yes.
the contract that was signed.
Yes, I received a response from Randy, and specifically that this is a township issue. And full disclosure, I spoke last Thursday, I believe it was, with Joyce. I spoke with Chief Willems, also, and then spoke with Tim Foster, who is the town chairman for the town of Hudson, because the parcel of property, for lack of and again, used to be the golf course property line. Now whoever owns that property, this is on the south end. The trail, the pedestrian walkway comes out from the south and turns onto Carmichael Road and then heads north. Well, that property, that south property line is owned by one of the Gagnon family members, and then past their driveway, which is to the north of that, and then up to the Bella Rose property line is Gagnon. It's one of their LLCs, and that is in the township of Hudson. So from that south line of the property of the Gagnons to the north line property at the Bella Rose is in the town of Hudson. And that's why I went to Tim Foster, and his response to me was that the city is responsible for the maintenance of Carmichael Road. And that's one reason I wrote the letter. Randy responded to me that this is a township issue and it needs to be dealt with there.
Well, I said township and city.
Yes, but it was essentially, the inference I received, Randy, was go back to the township and talk to them. And you were going to refer to the various people in the, let the committee process work in the city. I have that here, so if you want to see it. So Tim called me yesterday morning, and specifically, Vicki Shaw, the clerk, had pulled the file, and a contract was signed on the 31st of March of 2021 by the town and the city, specifically on the 31st by outgoing town chairman Don Jordan, that Carmichael Road, that the maintenance of Carmichael Road would be 100% city responsibility. And that in that same contract, and there's apparently are two contracts, same language, is regarding south, or the old Highway 35 south, and that's a 50-50 deal. So there are contracts dealing that's there. So it should be a file with the city as to who's responsible for that. And I would defer to that also because I have not been able to formally see the document. So that's here, I'm assuming. If not, I can get it when the township opens again on Monday, and because they're closed Thursday and Friday. And So that's where we're at. It's my belief that if you're responsible for the, and again, relying upon my old days in my prior profession, and I am no longer licensed, but as inference that if you're responsible for maintenance, there's going to be questions, why wasn't something done to protect that line? So just a matter of take a look at it, and also then rely upon Mr. Vivian and his opinions.
Thank you, Mark, for bringing it to our attention. We can't take questions. It's not necessarily on the agenda, so.
Understand that. So, thank you.
All right,
Take
thank
care.
you.
Thanks for your consideration.
Yep. Moving on to A, the Third Street Halloween Spooktacular. I believe this is a yearly thing. Jeff, any issues that we've run into?
Thing for as long as I can remember. We've taken steps to make it safer, closing more of the road. There's the church that's now involved.
Yeah,
So it's getting bigger and bigger, and
so no
never
issue.
had any issue.
Any,
We've never had any issues either.
And we'll be down there too, so.
okay,
So what do they need from us?
approval.
Okay, move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. It'll go
Okay.
to council,
So they are asking for
the same that they have.
same that they had, so that would just go through
Mhm.
each of the different departments. Okay.
Jeff sends out an email and whatnot. Were you here for that item? Or are you here for the? Okay.
She's interested in the deer management.
And that is the next item. And item B, River Valley Deer Management. And Joyce asked that this, well, we both kind of asked that it needs to come back here to talk about it. Lon was invited. Did he not get back to you? He's,
Not to this time, he has not.
okay, so obviously he's not here.
Yeah. Hey,
Joyce, your concerns, let's start with that.
well, I've heard from a number of residents, and, Jeff, did you get my email with the different, I sent Jeff,
I did.
and did you forward it to the other members?
I had it on the agenda, and I was asked to remove the email chain, so I removed it and republished it.
Oh, okay. So they haven't seen those,
No, I didn't
We have
specifically,
not.
I didn't forward it
Okay.
to them.
all right. So I got one email from a resident who lives on Juniper Way, concerned about the deer on the school property. There's that school forest over there, and that, the population just keeps on increasing. And River Valley Deer Management has not been, I mean, they're doing the best they can with the people that they've got. And I've referred people to River Valley Deer Management, but, they're not keeping up with the population keeps on increasing despite their efforts. And then there was another email from a resident on Second Street who's observed a lot of deer crossing Second Street and causing some accidents or near accidents, and a lot of concern there. And then I've also gotten emails from a lot of people who just have them in their gardens, but now one of them was, the woman on Second Street was saying that they're eating plants that they normally don't eat. And so that really talks about, so like tomato plants and stuff like that. So that makes me wonder about the overpopulation. Anyway, so I had talked to Lon Fay about that, asking him, why don't you have more hunters? And, and he said, well, refer people to him. So I've been referring people to him, and it doesn't sound like the number of hunters has increased. But, but without him here, it's hard to talk about this because we can't get the answers to the questions. So the questions that I would like to know is, how many hunters does he have? How many deer did he get last year? Because it's been about 10 to 12 deer that they've been getting each year. And then if the city paid for some of these hunters' insurance costs, or whatever they're charging, would he be able to get more hunters? engaged.
Okay. Well, I can tell you from conversations I've had, Lon's business is his own private business. So the contract is accepted by us as is.
Yes.
He has a very rigorous training
Yes.
because obviously,
Oh, and,
for obvious
and I'm
reasons.
not, I don't want him to change that.
So my guess is maybe the people that you sent him didn't qualify, or,
So one person that I talked to said he was all ready to do all of that, and then he found out that he had to spend $150 to join the group, and that stopped him. So that's what brought this all up, was that, all right, if, how often is this happening? And so those are the questions that it would be helpful to get answers from Lon.
Did Lon indicate at all that he was struggling getting applicants? So because I didn't
No.
hear that.
I don't know.
Okay.
but I do understand why you're suggesting more to
Yeah.
thin the herd even more.
I just wasn't sure if he was struggling to get, those would be great. Is there a chance we could send him questions that if he is unable to get here, he could respond to those questions?
Well, that, he may be able to hit the city council meeting, because it has to go back up there, and we gotta get this on the next agenda, otherwise we'll miss the opening deer season.
I thought we approved the
We might, did we?
contract. We approved the contract.
It was
at
all about
city
the
council.
150.
But it was, the question was, so what was sent back here was whether or not we could pay for for potential hunters, pay their fee so that isn't a barrier.
Right.
And so I don't, my understanding is that he does have the contract, that the city's.
Contract is signed.
Okay, so that's not the issue. Then how many different, so the other questions that I've got are, how many different municipalities does he have contracts with? And, how many hunters does he have in each municipality, things like that.
I know North Hudson was always one, but I don't know.
Yeah, North Hudson has
Outside
it.
of that, I don't,
Had it on their agenda this week, too.
yeah, I'm not familiar with it. And I don't know if we're able to change the quota on that contract and say instead of 15 to 20 or whatever the contract said, go to 20 to 30.
Well, and yeah, we do have the quota, but I don't think he's been even making that quota, which,
I guess I would have concerns about us gathering more people to send his way and paying for it. I don't know how the chief feels about it, but I just, the way Lon has been doing it, to me, worked, but maybe not worked for enough.
it's not working well, and I have no complaints about how his hunters have been behaving
You just
or
want more production.
anything. Yes, because there's definitely an overpopulation here in the city that needs to be addressed. And the resident on Second Street was saying that, yeah, there's, she's been seeing, twins and triplets in the springs and
But
lots more deer being born.
Lynn?
That being said, that's a person's observation
Right.
of the deer population. I think we need to either talk with the DNR about what quota we could change it to before we make a decision of how many should or should not be.
Yeah.
And if unless he's struggling to get people to participate in this program, I don't know that we need to initiate the $150.
Well, that's why we need to have a conversation with him.
Right, so Jeff, do you have any thoughts about this before what I kind of move to?
We don't have a huge car deer problem in the city.
That's
There's-
good.
There's not a ton. We don't get a lot of complaints about deer here or deer there, right? I mean, it's every once in a while. I think it's a slippery slope if we start meddling in a private business too much as a city government. But that's just an opinion, that's beyond my purview, right? I don't see a public safety issue with any of it. From my conversations with Lon, he usually gets 5 or 6 hunters. Whether those are dedicated to the city or split amongst the other municipalities that he does, I'm not sure. I never asked that specifically. And you're right, from what I understand, it's about 10 to 12 deer that he harvests every year out of the city.
I know one year we got 22, like the first
Oh.
year we did it, but that was a while back, and I
Yeah.
know things have changed.
And I believe it was him that came to the city.
Yes. But I believe he was asked by a previous mayor.
Okay.
I don't totally recall, but my thought is, let's let this year go as is right now, and then have the conversation with Lon about what we can do to increase numbers and what it would take, what his thoughts are, so we're not stepping on his private business and,
Well, yeah, I won't,
I know you're
I'm not
not.
I'm not advocating to do anything without having a conversation with him, because we do need feedback from him before we make any decision, because we need his input. I did call the DNR about a year ago and just asked about deer tags and asked about hunting and, you know, how many deer are being harvested in this area. And the guy said, we have got lots and lots of tags, we just don't have the hunters.
the hunters have gone down.
To get them, so.
I know he's still using the 80 deer per square mile. Was that in the
That
contract?
seems to be the information, yeah. But, you know, how many deer are actually in the city, I don't know that we have a way of
Is it,
figuring that out.
is it a lack of locations to hunt?
They have to ask permission, and there are people in this community that
Right.
don't want the deer harmed.
Yeah. I've participated in a number of these types of hunts, and, you know, a lot of people will trophy hunt when they're in these city hunts. And that reduces the number because they're waiting and waiting. So a lot of times the groups will make them, you're required to shoot a doe first before you can shoot a buck.
And that's in the contract.
It is, yeah.
5. They're supposed to shoot 5 doe before the antler.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Reddy, on this. Let's let this year go the way it is written and agreed to already, and then look at this to improve on or change for next year.
That way we give Lon some time to come in and.
Yeah, let's get him to come in as soon as possible, if, you know, whenever he's available, so that we can at least have the discussion and then be able to make some, hopefully be able to make
I
some
mean, you
changes.
raise
for
a
next
good point, that there's that many more deer. We need to probably harvest more.
And even after this year's hunt, have him come in and give us feedback on what went well, what would make it better. Maybe a better use of his time than having him come in before and after. If we're gonna let this go as it is right now, talk with him after this.
Yeah, normally he does a final report and sends it to Public Works Director. But if you want him to come.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I haven't
That'd be a
seen
good
that,
place.
that report. It would be good for us to get a copy of the report. Or get a copy of the more recent reports, so that we can see what the trends are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be good to have him here.
So I will move to have this go as is this year, and for us to revisit with Mr. Faya at our, 2 months from now,
Yeah.
next month, or?
Well,
Say
next,
two.
you know, invite him and
Yeah.
to come as soon as he can, and
As soon as
encourage him
possible
to come to our next meeting.
So we can just discuss, we're not gonna dictate how we do business, but give them our thoughts and concerns. Something like that. Did you get that, Melanie? Is there a second? Are you clear on it?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion, ideas? We'll just have to be safe about it. It'll work out, but
Yeah.
I think it's better, just let's go through this year and
Right, well, yeah, like I said, I have,
and nail it
you
out.
know,
Yeah,
I have no complaints about how he's handling, you know, how the hunters are handling things. At one point, I mean, it was quite a few years ago, but, you know, I was up early one morning and I did see a hunter leaving the area near my house, that was the wooded area near my house. So he did have hunters out at that time, but I haven't seen one since.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, number 5, informational items. Are there any? Seeing none, we'll go into the EMS report. And it's all colored, you guys.
Around,
It's a lot of budget there.
I don't have a lot here. I'll just do this. There's packets.
That's
Just to
hers?
keep that.
Okay.
Oh,
The only thing I'm gonna talk about is
Oh, I
the.
see. Okay. Oh,
the
first
top-
quarter and second quarter.
the
Okay,
top
got it.
report.
The one pager?
Yeah, just the one page. The other is just information for you guys. So we had a couple weeks ago, we had our EMS Performance Review Advisory Committee meeting and went through the data, the quarters that we didn't cover last year, and then first and second quarter of this year. So that's just to share with you guys that information. And Lynn had found a couple of date issues in there, so I've corrected the issues on the dates. The data was correct, it was the dates in my Excel spreadsheet. So, again, that's just review for you guys. Just the numbers for August is what that one sheet is. It's actually front and back side, so the front side, it's just got EMS response for the month of August, 163 calls in the city. 112 of them were lights and siren response, 51 were non-lights and sirens. Response time average response of 4 minutes and 2 seconds, and then the fractile was 8 minutes and 10. And that's on the back side of that sheet, give you a 6-month trending data on that. And that's really all I have to report.
so,
Any questions?
yeah, I see it trending upward. Is this normal, a normal cycle for the year of trending upward? And then it'll go down again, or are the
It's up.
calls just going up and up and up?
Yeah, the calls are going up.
Okay.
Everywhere we're seeing an increase in our volume. We've been seeing an increase in the volume in Hudson since we've come here.
Are you doing, does this include transfers or?
That does not include transfers. So we're averaging, I put the transfer data together, I think it's in this form, but at the end of the year, I show you all the transfers, but in August, we did 45 out of the hospital, Hudson Hospital, and then we're averaging about between 60 and 50 is probably the average.
Average, okay.
Yeah. The hospitals are keeping more patients than they used to. They're keeping they're able to handle the sicker patients than they used to. So when we first started over here, we were averaging about 75 transfers a year.
We level 1 trauma?
No, we're level 4 here.
Okay.
Yeah. Lakeview's level 3, and then Regions is level 1. So that's always good for us. Lakeview's doing the same thing. We've increased our level of capability. So we're doing less transfers. It's not huge numbers, but I like that because we're keeping more of our patients in their own community. They like it because they don't always want to go to the big cities, and their families can come here and see them. So we're seeing that trend. That's a good trend, and it keeps the ambulances in town, versus going to the cities.
Are ambulances still hard to purchase?
Yeah, I was just at our I guess our rep, this week. We had dropped an ambulance off to get remounted, and he informed me that they haven't been able to get chassis, and then all of a sudden last week he had 12 chassis show up, so that's probably a good thing. But we still, they haven't updated us on our 2 new trucks that we have on order. They're going to be May of 2024. I doubt that will back up, but I would love to see it back up, get it sooner. And then we have 2 more on order. They haven't even given me a date on when that'll happen. And then at least 3 remounts are in the works. So we have one that we dropped off that they're demoing right now to get put together, but it's the parts.
So do you have enough ambulances right now?
Yeah, we still have the 9, we still have 9 ambulance, actually 8, because one's getting rebuilt, but It has been an issue. So we've had, last week we had one breakdown on us on 94. It was out for a day, and that was the day of the concerts in Somerset. So we had extra people on hand, but we didn't have an ambulance for them, so. Our 911 side stayed covered, but we went short there.
Are you fully staffed?
Technically we are. They're not functioning yet because they're still going through their FTO process.
Okay.
So, we're one down. So, other than that, things are good.
All right,
And
any
it's-
questions?
It was a wonderful presentation to look at things over time in both of these quarter one. That was really good information to see how effective it is that we're working. And then I just want to point out that you got really high praise from the other women that were there, your boss, and the other one from Hudson Hospital about working together with the fire department, what an asset that is to our community.
Yeah.
That's very effective and not always common in other
Right.
ones. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Drew.
Chief Drew?
Another busy month in August. We're on pace right now for 600 calls this year. We had 490 last year, so we're on pace to be way over that. It's the same story as police, same story as EMS. It's trending up. I don't see it ever going down. It's just a growing community, a lot of people. Just got notified this week, we are officially state licensed as an EMS provider, which we did. So we were able to jump through all the hoops of the state, got that done, so we can bring all that in under house now and give John a little breathing room over there for for managing our guys. So so that was a big hurdle to get licensed by the state. So that was good. So and then the only other thing is our open house Saturday, the 150th, from 10 to 4, and there should be a lot going on over there. So if you're available, stop out. It's an all day thing. There's something going on just about every hour. So
Is there a burn ban?
there is not.
Okay.
No. St. Croix County is still in I think it's a moderate fire danger here. Just south of us are in high and extreme. If we don't get rain, it's going to be extremely dry this fall.
So people should be very careful,
Yeah.
avoid the fires if possible.
Be very cautious using it. I mean, if you're gonna have a campfire, have a garden hose or something handy. I mean,
Okay.
it could be a bad fall. I don't see any rain in forecast. It's gonna get worse.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
Is the increase in calls for each of you, or for all of you, is it proportional to the increase in population, or is it higher than the increase in population?
I don't think it has on the EMS side of things, I don't think it has anything to do with the correlation of population. I think it's just the activity that people are doing more and more now. I mean, there's more people out on bikes, there's more people out doing things. It's been a nice summer, not a lot of rain days, and
Oh, yep.
I think our business is always weather dependent. When we have we average 30 to 40 calls a day. If we get these cold and rainy days, which we haven't had many of them, we're doing, 27 to maybe 30 calls. Our business is
So it's
very
weather.
weather dependent.
Okay,
So
that makes sense. Thanks.
I don't know if that's the same for you guys.
Yeah, I think was it directly correlated to population? Yes, and the fact that there's more people out doing more things, right? So I wouldn't say because there's more population, it's just there's a lot more going on. There's a lot of people out and about doing things and
Well, and specifically here, right, our 300 increase in population isn't the cause of it, but the fastest growing county in the state of Wisconsin, a lot more people coming over to the river, right? I mean, we service 85,000 people a day. Just because we're 15,000 people population, our service population is way higher than that.
Okay.
yep.
Segue into police department.
Call me whatever you want. You have the call for service for the month of August, so just like a broken record, right? It's still busy. Our latest new hire completed FTO, so he's off on solo patrol. So now we're officially full staffed on paper.
Yay.
So that's good.
Have we gotten any input? Have you stepped up tighter patrol on enforcing speeding?
Oh, yeah, we're out there on the complaining streets, right? We're monitoring the things, the speed signs,
Yep.
right? So that gives us data. I run weekly reports on those, and whatever the data tells us, I send it out to the guys to go and spend some extra time up there.
So I guess my message is the message getting out?
No,
No?
no. I don't see it, I don't see that part slowing down until snow starts flying, to be honest with you. People are gonna drive fast, especially this first month of school, right?
Yeah.
Traffic volumes pick up significantly.
Oh, yeah.
During the summertime, it's kind of busy all the time with people out and about doing things. There's drastic differences on Monday's volume and Friday's volume versus Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There's clearly still a lot of people that are working from home, at least some of those days, right?
Yeah.
So your traffic volumes go way up on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays and fall back down on Mondays and Fridays. But they're out and about. Like they said, there's not been rain, it's not been over yet. I mean, sunny, it's hot, people are out
Yeah.
and busy trying to get things done, right? So they are not changing their behaviors until
Okay.
the weather elements probably started.
Any other questions for Jeff? Okay, seeing none. Communications and items for the next agenda. I will touch base with city administrator and Aaron on the policy, traffic taming. Hopefully we get something from there,
That'd be great.
so we can answer some of the other outlying questions that are out
Be
there.
consistent in our response to things.
So, yeah, I will follow up with that. Any other question, or for items next meeting?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
We stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
a good
Appreciate your
night.
time.
Congratulations on
Yeah,
that.
thank you.